And these are all automated prompts that are being created by AI to get to the end result, fixing itself, improving on the game, making sure all the requirements are fulfilled. There are some killer upgrades that are coming to the world of AI that are going to transform the way you use tools like ChatGPT. Because as good as ChatGPT may be at responding to simple prompts, it's still a ways off from handling anything even marginally complex. And in this video, I'm going to show you how these upgrades will supercharge the work that you do. Have you ever used ChatGPT and been disappointed by the results, even after spending hours refining your prompts? Or have you sometimes felt like AI isn't quite as useful as others claim it to be? Well, there are some interesting changes that will make ChatGPT way better than it currently is. And one of these upgrades doesn't even need you to prompt it once it starts. You're going to want to hear about how it works. AI chat, as we know it, is being integrated everywhere and into everything. But while AI has been great at writing witty haikus and custom rap songs, its usefulness for regular users and their real-world problems has been fairly basic. ChatGPT has a bunch of limitations. It doesn't always have access to updated information, so some of the answers may be outdated. And when it doesn't know an answer, it might convincingly give you one anyways that's completely false. At the very least, ChatGPT results have been inconsistent. And it's hard to solve real-world practical problems when it's not consistent. I like to think of AI right now like it's an intern, eager to learn, but often not getting everything right, able to do basic tasks well when given proper detailed instructions, but struggles with complex tasks. As amazing as AI is, its results for a lot of practical use cases have so far been mediocre. Have you struggled or been frustrated with ChatGPT? Let me know in the comments. In 2024, we're going to see the next evolution of AI tools that will make it so much more useful and relevant for the work we do. OpenAI is having their very first developer conference on November 6th, and while Sam Altman has made it clear that there's not going to be any new GPT-5 or 4.5, rumors abound about a number of significant improvements to what ChatGPT can do. Reuters has an article of what may be coming. Specifically, memory storage. ChatGPT will have the ability to retain information from preset context or past conversations. This will save on tokens used every time a new prompt is sent. And having this kind of longer-term memory will result in lower pricing. And it's rumored that it could decrease pricing by as much as 20 times. Another anticipated announcement is vision. Now, OpenAI demonstrated this months ago and just recently released this to Plus users. Having vision to see and interpret things like diagrams, pictures, and videos opens up vast new abilities and use cases. I think it's good that OpenAI is actively innovating, reducing developer pricing, and adding new features to attract both new users and developers, because there's a lot of competition coming from both commercial and open source projects. Now to the really juicy stuff. I want to talk about the next level of AI beyond the simple chat interface we're familiar with, and that's autonomous agents and multi-agent conversations. These two aren't necessarily specific to OpenAI, but this article does make a brief mention of the first part, autonomous agents, and it explains what that means. They can perform tasks without human intervention, meaning it can initiate and complete tasks on its own. Now, that doesn't mean it'll be sentient, where it has its own thoughts and feelings. We're not talking about Skynet machine world domination here. Not even close. Think of it more like a Star Trek computer, where a human, or sentient AI android impersonating a human, can give it a high-level task, and it can then figure out everything else on its own.
Computer, recognize Picard. Jean-Luc, Alpha 2 clearance.
Priority clearance recognition, Alpha 2.
Cancel separation sequence.
Sequence cancelled.
Isolate all remaining command functions and accept related orders and inquiries from main bridge only.
I hope that's not foreshadowing. How does it do this exactly? Well, we're still in the ultra early stages, but I believe it's going to be a reality much sooner than many think. Now, why would we want to minimize human interaction? The human prompter, like you and me, can be and often is a major bottleneck for AI. ChatGPT is only as good as how good the prompt it's given, and often we don't know what or how to get better results. Even the best prompters can spend hours trying to get a good desired response. A human prompter is very much a limiting factor. So, when trained correctly, the more we can remove human input from AI when appropriate, the more efficiently it can produce faster and arguably better output. While OpenAI may or may not have some cool announcement about autonomous agents in its upcoming dev event, there are multiple autonomous agent projects outside of OpenAI that are popping up daily. We're very much at the birthing stage right now. But one way the community is exploring them is through multi-agent conversations. What does that mean? Let me explain. Multi-agent conversations are where a bunch of AI agents, or I'll call them AI bots, that are defined and created, each with a specific role. And collectively, they form a team or workforce that's focused on achieving a specific objective. A few examples of multi-agent projects are MetaGPT, ChatDev, AutoGen, and AutoAgents. But there are many more, and each new day comes new projects. Software development is a common example used for these projects. This graphic from ChatDev illustrates how it looks like. Plus, I think their pixel art is pretty awesome. There are various roles in the organization. Here might be the CEO or CTO. Then there's a design team, a coding team, testing team, and a documentation team. Each of these would be AI bots. Think of individual ChatGPTs, but each with a defined role. A human starts with a prompt of what they want. Develop a Gomoku game. The CEO AI bot would take that input and formulate all the requirements and steps needed to achieve this goal. It would then prompt the other AI bots to do the specific tasks needed based on their roles, perhaps starting with the design team. Each role would report back to the CEO what they did, and perhaps the CEO would give feedback and ask them to refine their results. But the AI bots can also collaborate with each other, giving feedback and improving the development process, like critiquing responses, fixing errors, correcting hallucinations. This iteration process keeps happening until a fully working product is produced, including the documentation for it. I demoed ChatDev, and these are some of the sample games the AI workforce produced for me. So here's a list of some of the software that ChatDev had created for me autonomously. So there's like a BMI calculator, and I'll just go into Flappy Bird here and run the game. And so you can see there's this bouncing ball, and if I press the space bar, I'm not very good at it, clearly. I'm just pressing the space bar to get through these columns here. Oh, I might beat my high score. Look at that. I'm a pro already. Anyways, you get the idea. I'll just crash into this. Here's just another one. So I can move both these up and down and play a game of Pong here. The score, you can see it increments by 1. And I'll just run this last one called a Trippy Avoid game. So you can see I move my mouse around and I just avoid all the round balls that are bouncing around. And of course, if I crash into one of them, it's game over. Now, the other cool thing is you can actually run a conversation log here. And if I choose File Upload, and I go to the log file here that was produced by them, so you can see at the top here, this was the human input, and it says Task, a game where randomly sized circles are flying around the screen that always start on the outside edge and continuously spawn. The user moving the character with their mouse has to avoid touching any of the random circles flying around the screen. And so the ChatDev starts, and anything after this is all autonomous. Like there's no human intervention here. But it starts with a chief executive officer. He kind of lays out the requirements. He says the programming language should be Python. And based on all of these specifications as a prompt, the programmer then starts to output the code. And after there's a code reviewer bot. The code reviewer says, The code looks good overall, but there is one potential bug in the circle class. The initial velocity of the circle is randomly generated between -5 and 5 for both x and y directions. So anyways, there's a fix. It says in the circle class, update the init method as follows. And so the code reviewer has a bunch of feedback to improve the app. And so it goes back to the programmer makes the fixes, and it goes back and forth all the way through. And these are all automated, autonomous prompts that are being created by AI to get to the end result. Fixing itself, improving on the game, making sure all the requirements are fulfilled. You can see this chief product officer, there's the Circle Dodge Game user manual. And so the documentation team has created the user manual here. And you can see there's an introduction, how to install it, the usage, and the customization for all the files. The software was created using GPT 3.5 and cost between 10 and 30 cents to create each one. With GPT-4, it might cost closer to $2 or $3. All of the projects were usually completed within seconds, or at most a minute or so. The concept of autonomous agents and multi-agent conversations supercharges AI and takes the possibilities to a whole new level. I'm super excited to see what the future holds for all of this. But what if you're not interested in creating software? Well, here's an example that's outside of software development. Let's say you want an AI marketing company that sells ad creatives to corporations. Some roles you might need for this AI workforce are a project manager, a researcher, a copywriter, and a graphic designer, among others. Then the project manager bot would autonomously manage the project between the teams, conversing with them and giving them feedback along the way, until the end product is created, which in this case would be an entire ad package, complete with research, strategy, creatives, and insights. A noteworthy project in this space is AutoGen, which is from Microsoft, and it allows humans to inject feedback during the process if desired. And the AI can incorporate that feedback into its workforce. Another interesting project is Auto Agents, which claims to generate the agents dynamically so you don't have to. And they also have self-refining agents and collaborative refinement actions. Contrast the simple chatbots we're familiar with now to these autonomous and multi-agent teams. Think about having a simple intern working for you versus a high-functioning, fully autonomous workforce. If this is elevating your perspective on what AI can do, hit the like button on this video now and write about it in the comments. Let me know which of these new developments you're most interested in hearing more about. These projects may not encapsulate the full realization of autonomous agents, but they are certainly moving in the right direction. As the technology improves and advances, such as enabling memory and vision, like I had mentioned earlier, the closer we get to having AI save us time and make us money doing complex work. While 2023 was the birthing of mainstream AI chat that was novel to tinker with and do basic tasks, 2024 is the year AI starts to grow up and become truly useful in the real world. I'm Ben Young, and I run an AI automation agency. Get in touch if you're interested in saving time and increasing profits by integrating AI into your business. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.